We pound for pound, UFC thrills, spills nights get loud, big EQB, that's how we get down.
Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it on a Thursday. As you can see, I'm not home. I'm out of town for work. And yeah, I got everything set up. I really hope everything is running smoothly. Hopefully you guys can hear me fine. Let me know if there's an issue with anything in the chat, because I haven't done a stream from out of town in a while. It's been quite a while. So I did some tests. Everything seemed good. So I'm hoping everything looks good. Yeah, thanks to my wife. She just texted me and said everything looked good. So yeah, if you guys, hopefully the mic doesn't clip out too hard if I get loud or anything like that. I haven't used this mic in a really long time. This used to be my everyday mic, and now it's my travel mic, I guess. I brought one of my other mics, but like an idiot, I forgot a cable that I needed for it. So, but I mean, I have a decent little setup here. I got two screens. I got my stream deck. I got some lights, the webcam, everything like that. So hopefully everything is good, and hopefully everybody will be able to jump in, and yeah, hopefully all is well with the chat. Oh, I just saw something pop up, so that's good. Everything sounds great through my TV. Oh, nice. Thank you, 78 Northwest. I appreciate that. Things sound weird to me, so I'm a little bit thrown off by it, because I'm used to hearing myself in my ears a certain way. So luckily it's popping up on the screen, because my little pop-up thing on the right-hand side, my chat over there, it isn't working like it should be. But I can just switch it to this. Okay, there we go. Cool. Yeah, we're good to go. You guys won't see any of the pop-ups on the screen, but at least the chat box is working, so that's good. So I appreciate the feedback, 78 Northwest. Thanks for jumping back in, as usual. And yeah, we're here. I'm surprised that I have decent service. They actually upgraded these rooms a little bit from the last time I was here, which I'm happy about, because it gave me actually a decent spot to do put my setup and everything like that. I still threw the backdrop up, even though things look a little better in the background. But it's one of those things where I have to like make the bed and shit. Otherwise it's just gonna look like messy. And I'm like, what am I gonna make the bed for? I'm leaving tomorrow. But how is work on the road treating you? It's been rough. It's been rough. It's been long days, and a lot of walking around, a lot of stair climbing, a lot of up and down on ladders. So, which, I mean, yeah, what's up, Infinity? Yeah, I'm on the road. Yeah. It's been rough. I've been pretty damn tired, actually. The first day is never that bad, because I that's the day I drive, and we work when we get here, but it's always like minimal, unless it's something that's an emergency. So I got here, but then Tuesday, Wednesday, and today have just been nonstop. Lots and lots and lots of walking. My watch is like telling me all kinds of stuff about how I've met all kinds of goals, and I've surpassed everything I've done in a long time, because I've just been doing nothing but walking around. I'm basically working at a place that has so many stairs. It has an elevator, but I guess it was broken. So we've been having to go up and down the elevator. It's a messy area. There's a lot of dust and stuff, and so it's dirty. I've got like black marks on my face. When I got home, I didn't even realize that I had black marks on my face. It's just because it's so dirty everywhere. So it's been a chore, but otherwise, I mean, we got everything done that we were here to do, and then some. We had some issues today, but that's what happens. We're just kind of doing some service work today, some stuff that was broken that we were trying to fix, but it didn't work out as planned. Things this week had gotten a little weird, so we don't have certain support that we usually have, and things just couldn't get done. So you said you wanted to get in shape. Yeah, no shit, Infinity. Yeah, man. but damn, it's tiring. So it's all good. Yeah, no, it is good for me for sure, to be walking more than usual and climbing stairs and stuff. But when you're this age, that shit hits you harder. So I've been sleeping okay. Usually I don't sleep very well when I'm out of town. And yeah, and I've been able to sleep. And I think it's just because I've been damn tired. But Infinity, since you're here, let me know if everything sounds and looks good. I know 78 Northwest gave me, I always need like reinforcement here. My wife told me already too that it all sounds good. I know the mic's going to sound different because obviously, okay, cool. I appreciate that. I mean, the mic's going to sound different because obviously it's a different mic, but it sounds different in my ears. I don't know how it sounds coming over to you guys, but even graphics are working. Yeah, for sure. Thank God everything's working. But yeah, so anyway, and I don't have anything else really going on here, so I was able to get everything done and I was able to test, so I was glad about that. I used to work construction in Seattle. It can definitely be challenging. It's man, and we're doing a lot of like testing and replacing of things, and actually a little brighter and louder. I like it. Oh, okay. Well, it's definitely brighter because I can, like, my backdrop is here, which you see I didn't move very far, and right in front of me, like, there's not a lot of space, so I'm in a real condensed area. Sound wise, okay. I was like, yeah, the lights are bright. I did turn it up some because I thought it was low, and then I realized this mic has a mix in the mic where it mixes because I got my headphones plugged into the mic, so I got the mix of the audio coming from the computer as well as my monitoring. So yeah, I was like, I turned it up a little bit because I thought it was low, and then I realized that I just turned the knob on here, and I was like, oops. But yeah, I'm glad it sounds good because I did listen to some from back in the day when I was using this mic. I don't think I had dialed it in right because it just didn't sound the best to me. So I was a little worried about using this mic, but I'm glad it's working. So that means that's good because I'm going to be coming here every other week for a little while. So, as long as nothing changes, I got my setup good to go. So that makes me happy because you know how it is, man. Things go crazy. Things go crazy when you change things. So like I'm worried when I get back home that I'm gonna have changed something that I didn't realize, and then I'll go back and listen to it, Infinity, and see what you're talking about. So maybe everyone used to talk about my mic being overly loud, and even in my interviews, people would say that my mic was a little loud. So I turned it down a bit for the home mic. So maybe I need to turn it back up a tiny bit. Okay. So anyway, what was I gonna? Oh yeah, before I go too far, I have a little fan under me because the AC in here is stupid loud. So let me get my smelling salts and let me give a shout out. Holy shit, I almost offed myself earlier today. Let me move it to this end. I almost offed myself earlier today with these things because I think it got a little warm in my van, and these were in my backpack. And when I pulled them out, I felt like the bottle felt a little hard. And then I shook it. I went to open it. I didn't even have to put it under my nose. That's how, like, all I did was crack the cap, and that shit hit me so hard my eyes were watering. It was insane. So I got myself good. I got myself real good. So yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to be that bad right now, but I'm definitely going to get a good hit off of it, and I need it just to get me through. I started feeling a little tired right before I started, so I'm like, yeah, I don't have my normal chair either, so I'm like trying to sit a little straighter up because I feel like this chair makes me slouch, but it's all good. We'll see how it goes. But Noctane Smelling Salts, it's the most potent bottle here. Of course, the red cap, I talk about it all the time. But yeah, definitely got to take a whiff of this. And you shake it up to get that effect going in there. And let's see how it goes. Here we go. Whew, I smell it already. Holy fuck. Here we go. Oh, oh man. Oh, yep. There's the pick-me-up I needed. Holy shit. Yeah, these fresh bottles, man, these are no joke. But you can get the lower potency if you'd like. They definitely have lower. It's a mid-range in the black cap. The white cap is the entry level. You can get different scents. I think this is lavender, which is a very light scent, but it's there. And there's I can smell it from here. And yeah, you can get different scents and different potencies. Go scan that QR code or hit the link in the description below, and you can learn more about the smelling salts and about Noctane. And their website is awesome. It's cool to look at, and they show my logo at the bottom saying that they proudly sponsor me. So go check it out. And thank you, Noctane, for the sponsorship as usual. So there's that. I'll turn my fan back to me so I can get some air. It's not super hot out here. It's actually been pretty close. Gotta love cocaine alternatives. No doubt, David.
Bruh.
I'm hoping that the sounds come through and stuff too. I didn't even synthetic snow. I didn't even test the sounds, honestly. They did. Okay, cool. I kind of forgot about that. But when it comes down to it, actually, if my music came through, then the sound should be just fine. So yeah, we should be good. And if my camera goes a little wonky, like gets a little out of focus, if I move too much with this webcam, it will go out of focus. So, just bear with me. It'll come back in focus pretty quickly. And if not, I'll notice it and I'll fix it. So, just not a lot of you have been around since I've, gone out of town, cause I haven't had to in quite a while. So yeah, this is just kind of what happens when I go out of town. I still stream, I still do the show, and yeah, what else am I gonna do out here? This place sucks, man. This place fucking sucks. I guess there's areas around here that I'm at that would be good to vacation for because it's kind of in the mountains. It's kind of in a real wilderness type area. They get a lot of snow and stuff, but it sucks out here when you're working. Because the town I stay in it's tiny. There's very few options for food. It's gotten a little better, but still not the best. They have great barbecue out here, I'll tell you that much. And then now they started making pizzas. I had a pizza from there today. Not bad. I will say that. For a place that does barbecue prominently, and they do it well too, but they're expensive, man. I spent almost $30 on myself, and I didn't even get that much food, which is crazy. But no, I'm not in New Mexico. It's I'm in northern Arizona. I'm in like the White Mountains, sorta, like Springerville. It's called. It's yeah, it's not the best place, and I'm actually staying in a little town outside of Springerville, so it's even worse. But the place I have to work at is, it's in a remote place. That's kind of where everywhere we work is in remote places. So I don't get the luxury of going to like awesome trips for work. They're not that awesome. When I go to New Mexico, I do stay in Roswell. There's cool stuff out there. I haven't really explored all that much. But Roswell for being the town that it is. But yeah, I mean, when I go to work, it's strictly work. Horror movie waiting to happen. No doubt. That's my wife there. I miss you. I can't wait to get home. Luckily, I'm leaving in the morning. So good Hatch chili. Yeah, I wish I liked it. But I'm not big on Hatch chili. I like some things with it, but not a lot. I don't have my stuff with me for old fashions today, so we're going with the Trusted Twisteds. So I'll probably have a couple of these while we talk and get to go over all the fights that are coming up this weekend. So yeah, let's get to it because we got some stuff to talk about. And I did prep a couple videos because, surprised you didn't bring mobile bar. Honestly, man, I already had so many fucking bags that it was like, there's no idea. I couldn't because I had to bring a week's worth of shit for myself, like lunches and stuff, because there's not a whole lot where I'm at. So yeah, it's like that's kind of some extra shit that I would have to do. And I'm just like, I'll just drink some Twisteds. I'm not drinking any day but today, really. I think I had one on Tuesday because I was so dead tired. But I didn't even bother with it other than that. So, yeah. I don't actually drink all that much, honestly. It's usually just for the shows. You guys all see me drinking all the time because every show I have a drink in my hand. But, hey, Antoine, what up? How's it going? Appreciate you for coming in. But yeah, that, not the drinks, the packed food. Oh, got you. Yeah, I'm definitely tired, Antoine. Definitely tired. I was talking about that earlier. It's just been pretty tiring and all that, but not bad. I'm here and having a drink. So, yeah, just trying to have a good time and pass the time away. I get to go home tomorrow, and I'm pretty happy about that. So, it's been a long week, pretty tiring, somewhat stressful, especially today, but we got through it. We got done, and like I said, I got a few weeks of coming back and forth. Shit's gonna get hectic, so I guess I can't complain too much about this week. Hopefully it's smooth sailing from here on out, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Let's get into everything we got to talk about, because we do have a few things to go over. Hopefully all of the prep was good, and hopefully it all runs smooth. So here we go. Let's get to it, and we'll start with not my most favorite person in the world, but he's in the news. And he's in the news for not the best reasons, as usual. Sean Strickland. This motherfucker. I don't even know what to say.
Freaking idiot.
He just continuously just fucking says, listen, I get it. Some of the things he says is funny. I can see why some people would find the humor in it. By the way, if the music's too loud, let me know, because that's another thing. It's hard for me to tell. So just let me know if the music's too loud. But yeah, it's like Sean just doesn't know how to shut the fuck up, and he can't help himself. I mean, he talks about people having autism and being slow and all this other shit, but I think it's him. I think he's projecting, because he just can't seem to help himself, and he can't seem to not say some dumb shit. And I get it, man. Like, you want to fucking say whatever you want, but there's just times when it just gets to be too much. And it's like, bro, I just don't even want to I don't want to listen to it anymore. But unfortunately, it does make the news, and people cover it. Yeah, sometimes saying nothing is way better, and Sean Strickland doesn't know how to do that. If there's a mic in front of his face and a camera in front of his face, he's going nuts. And that's, a lot of people have said that. They'll say, hey, he doesn't say a whole lot. I mean, he still does. Don't get me wrong. I've heard that too. He is who he is. But when the mics are off and there's no cameras in his face, he's not talking the same way all the time. So yeah, I get it. He's trying to get the clout and all that shit. But sometimes it's just too much, man. So, and here's some prime examples. This is him talking about Khamzat Chimaev. In case you guys haven't seen it, he had this like little small press conference in the UFC PI or in the Apex. I don't know where they were, but it was like it kind of reminded me of back in the day when Conor used to do it, where he would just have a table set up, or he would just be standing somewhere near a cage or something in the gym, and people would be asking questions. And then, of course, they get clips out of it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how this went. So it was it was one of those things where, because we're leading up to his fight against Khamzat, right? So they're starting to ramp up getting him in front and talking to them. So, of course, he had some shit to say, because he's always talking shit about Khamzat. So here we go. Here's the first part. And you know what's weird? This clip has a little bit of music in the background, but it's just some like piano playing. So I hope I don't get a little copyright thing going on. But I'll definitely be pausing it here and there so it doesn't go too long, and we'll talk about what he's saying. So here we go. We'll start with the Khamzat one. He talks about Khamzat, then he talks about Dana. So here we go.
You guys run into each other, blah, blah, blah. Like, he'll have his friends with him. You won't have any.
All I'm going to do, I'll pull my gun out and I'm going to shoot him.
Okay, good to know. But do you anticipate any...
But I'll tell you what, but that being said, if Chimaev were to come up to me as a gentleman and say, hey, you know what? You said some things, you insulted my wife, I actually love sheep, it's crazy.
See, so right off the bat, the thing that he says that's crazy is that he's going to shoot everybody as far as in Khamzat's camp, because they basically asked him what's going to happen if him and his boys roll up on you, basically. And so Sean, being who he is, of course he's going to say some shit like that, right? Because he's on stream, he takes pictures, and he does all this other shit with his guns in his hands. Don't get me wrong. I'm a proud gun owner myself. Doesn't mean I got to fucking floss it all over the place and put it in your face all the time and talk about how I'm going to, use it against you at all times. I mean, you're a professional fighter. Like, what are we doing? Okay, yeah, I get it. You don't want to get jumped. That's fine. And I get that Khamzat and his boys are unpredictable at times. But, you know, it's not like something that they were threatening, but yet you go out and threaten them. So that's kind of the problem I have with this. You know, he can't help but, like, they're baiting him with it. So Dana said that. Dana has said that before. He said, you guys ask him the stupid fucking questions. Nobody's asking these questions, and you guys come out and ask these fucking questions. So that's what gets him going. The problem is he has no fucking self-control. And that's the thing. He has no self-control. He doesn't know how to chill. We all say some crazy shit every once in a while. We all say some things sometimes that we think is going to get a reaction or something like that. So it is what it is. It's fine. That's human nature, you know, whatever. But, you know, saying this shit, like, it's just too much, man. And then he just goes on about the goat fucker shit, the sheep fucking shit. It's insane. We're not all saying it in an open camera, though. Yeah. Shit. Yeah, for sure. So let's keep going.
Then I would be like, I love goats, dude. You know, goat tastes good. He loves goats. We have that in common. I just don't fuck him. But anyways, if you were to come up to me like a man, say, you know, Sean, you said some things about my dad, Kadirov. I'm like, what?
See, and that's a dangerous game that he's playing right there, because that's like some Chechnyan higher person that, you know, he's unpredictable, and that guy has a lot of power. So when you start talking about people overseas that have a lot of power and money, just because you live in America doesn't mean you're safe. You know what I mean? He has to travel. He travels all over the place for the UFC and for, you know, for the fights that he has. So you're asking to have to watch your back at all times because you just feel the need to say some dumb shit. Sometimes you just got to shut the fuck up. Like Infinity said, sometimes saying less is more. And sometimes you need to do that. So, and if he did shut up a lot less, like Infinity said, he'd had less of a chance of getting jumped, but he just has to say these things. He can't help himself.
You know what, dude? You hoard yourself out, not me. I want to settle this. I would say, let's settle this like a man. But if you come up to me with 3 fucking goat fucker Chechens that don't speak English, I'm going to pull my gun and I'm going to shoot each and every one of you.
All right, well, I think that's a fair warning.
See, and he laughs about it after, because I get it. He's got this whole thing where he's like, you know, he says that he's got this social anxiety and you know, he doesn't say it, but you know, that's basically what he's saying. You know, he came out and cried on Theo Von's podcast and stuff. So, you know, and he talked a little bit about it there, and I understand what he's saying. And I get where he's coming from, especially with the Chechnyan guy, the Kadirov or whatever, what he's saying about, Khamzat selling his soul. You know, those are things that don't, like, why does that matter to you, man? Why does that matter to you? Like, it's not going to have any effect on you whatsoever. That's Khamzat's problem to deal with, and it's not necessary for you to involve yourself in that. And it's a dangerous game to play. But he apparently likes it. I think he has some kind of a weird death wish in some sort, and he has talked about that. You know, about the fact that his previous trauma when he was a kid and all that shit has messed with him. So I think that's why he is the way he is. I'm pretty damn sure. But you know, it's just like, bro, just deal with it a different way. Deal with it a different way. I just don't understand it. So here he is. I mean, this is when he gets a little bit funny, because then he starts talking about Dana and Dana's reaction to the shooting that happened over with the correspondence dinner and all that stuff. So, you know, I talked about that last week, and some of you had some things to say about whether or not, you know, Dana's right for reacting the way he did, or that he was reacting to certain things. And I don't necessarily agree, because the more and more I see it, the more and more I'm just like, bro, I just think that Dana, I mean, even if Sean Strickland, who says crazy shit, says what he's about to say about Dana, that might tell you something about the reaction that Dana had. So let's get into that right now.
Did you happen to see Dana White's reaction during the whole thing? They interviewed him afterwards. They were telling him to get under tables, and he just said he just
Let me
stood
tell
there.
you, I'm sure Dana White is a sociopath. Like, I mean, let's be honest. Like, at that level, no, let's be honest.
That's like the pot calling the kettle black, right? I mean, what the fuck? He's a sociopath. What the fuck do you think you are?
It's like at that level of like what he's accomplished, the kind of shit he deals with. Like, I'm sure like he's a super narcissistic sociopath. So like for him, like, you know, the lizard brain doesn't kind of compute. So he's like,
oh, I see. Because he's a fucking millionaire and he's considered an elite, he's got the lizard brain. Listen, Sean, he's no different than you. He just doesn't say the crazy shit every single time he gets in front of a mic like you do. I mean, that's really the only difference here, right? Am I right or am I wrong?
I fucking bring it on, dude. Let's go, motherfucker. Which I respect. Respect that.
Of course he respects it.
What, the Dana White? No, I think Dana White would love to watch the motherfucking kill, dude. Yeah, no, he's a sick fuck, dude. 100%. I mean, come on, did we not think that about Dana White? Like, the guy's probably a fucking sociopath. Or even, I wouldn't assume he's probably a psychopath.
He is your boss.
Yeah, I wish fucking, that's why I'm not making, that's why I should be making more money, dude. I gotta deal with these fuckers. Now we know.
See, so that's what I don't get, man. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, why say that kind of stuff? it just doesn't make any sense. So that's kind of where he's saying all this stuff about Dana, but it's like, bro, listen to what you just said about Khamzat. And just because, they're your foes at the moment, or you don't agree with the way that they live, or you feel like this person did this and this person did that. Listen, I feel that way about the guy that molested Cain Velasquez's son. I feel like that about him. I feel like he deserved what he might have got if Cain would have got a hold of him. I feel that way about certain things like that. There are pieces of shit, fucked up people in this world. Sean Strickland, though,
You dumb motherfucker!
He can have his reasons for whatever, for whatever reasons he has those reasons. But listen, the shit that he says sometimes, Khamzat said they might jump him. He's reasonable for saying. I mean, did he though? I'd like to know 100%. If that's the case, then I get it. Like I said, I understand why he's saying what he's saying in some sorts, but he brings it on himself in a lot of ways. And I know that there's a lot of Sean Strickland lovers out there. I'm not one of them. But I'm not saying here's the thing. He just says dumb shit and he kind of brings it on himself. It's unfortunate. It just goes too far sometimes. But how many times have you heard, Khamzat, what does Khamzat say in the cage? He says, when you say it in the cage though, I mean, what is it really? He's like, I kill everyone. And I'm pretty sure he means that in I'm not sticking up for him saying that he's not capable of doing these things, but he says that in the way that he's meaning the competition, right? But his reaction to Sean saying these things is like he just doesn't care. He's just like, whatever, who gives a shit? Because but if Khamzat did say that before Sean said what he said, then I'll take back some of what I'm saying, because I didn't know that he said that. I didn't think that he said that. It sounded to me from everywhere else I heard it that it was unprovoked. It's just him with his feelings against Khamzat. If you think about all the things he said about Khamzat beforehand, though, whether you agree with them or not, I mean, you're gonna ask for that type of shit. I feel like anybody that wants to jump somebody that just for disliking each other, I think is dumb anyway. Especially being a professional fighter, just fight each other one-on-one. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you jumping each other? That shit is dumb. That's why, as much of a fan of Khabib I am, if his team jumped Conor's teammate, I forgot his name at the moment. I don't know why. But if they jumped his teammate, I understand why Conor got crazy. But, he involved some other shit that didn't need to be involved. So, of course, different situations cause for different reactions. And I'm not saying that I completely, don't understand where he's coming from. But sometimes he just says shit, flies off the handle that's not necessary. And so I just don't get it sometimes. And I feel like he needs to just shut the fuck up sometimes. But that's just my feelings, man. You don't have to agree with me. It's all good. You don't have to agree with me at all. But yeah, sometimes you put yourself in that position when you go out there and say some crazy shit. Just like I would expect some backlash for saying crazy shit if I was in here saying crazy shit, because I'm on the internet and anybody can hear, anybody can listen, and anybody can find out and not like it. If you just don't like me agreeing with what Sean said and you want to have a reaction towards me other than words for that, then that just makes you a little off your rocker. Because it's like, I'm not hurting you whatsoever. You don't agree with me, just move along. YouTube has a lot of videos and a lot of people live right now, I'm sure. So yeah, once it's there forever for sure. I mean, I could delete it, but if I don't think I'm big enough for anybody to clip that out right away. not as fast as, big time streamers and people that are in the media, but, so maybe I could hide it a little easier, but yeah, no, for sure. I'm just using it as an example, but other people like Sean, the second it goes out there, someone's going to record that and clip it, and they're going to throw it on social media, and it's just a cycle, a perpetuating cycle that doesn't end because of the crazy shit you say. That might be what he's looking for. And some of these guys in the end, like Conor did it too. He's like, oh, it's all business, mate. It's all business. And it's like, bro, it wasn't business when you were talking shit, throwing shit through windows and stuff. How was that business? So you take it that far, it's a little past business. So yeah, selling a fight's one thing, but talking about, offing each other, like literally is a whole different story. But if Khamzat said something first, I'm sure that was a reaction to something Sean said. Sean always says crazy shit. It's up in the air, man. You know what I mean? No one's all gonna agree, and no one's all gonna disagree with it. So it's just a talking point. It's something that I was just like, fucking Sean, I just don't understand why it always has to go down that path. It's like he has nothing better to say, so he just wants to say the most foul shit he can say. And
I'm not impressed by your performance.
That's what I got to say to Sean Strickland with him in the media, because that's how it goes. To be fair to Conor, Khabib called him out and called him a chicken, but yeah, Conor took it way too far, and Khabib circled his friend. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is, if they did, I didn't agree with that at all, and that's kind of why I understand why Conor was on the other level that he was on. But and Khabib called him a chicken. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. A chicken? You're gonna get mad at that? But yeah, it's like, what the fuck? It just gets crazy. Do you think Sean actually has a real chance against Khamzat? The thing is I don't think he's gonna go down like Drickus did. I do think Sean has a decent chance against Khamzat for the simple fact that he has such an awkward style, and I've doubted Sean so many times because I just don't like the way he carries himself, and I actually don't like the way he fights very much either, except for the fact that he does have a style that can get people. I think that he has a style that can make people really keep him guessing a lot, and that actually works in his benefit. So I do, and he's a former champ, and he beat Izzy. You know what I'm saying? It may not have been the most spectacular win, but he beat him, and it was without a doubt. So I feel like he has great skills, and that's why he was a champ, and I think he has a pretty good chance against Khamzat. I don't know if he's really gonna win, but I think he has a great chance to make it a good fight. With Conor, it was all trash until Khabib threatened his friend. That's when the bus incident. Well, no, I understand. I watched the whole thing go down. But you got to remember the things that Conor was saying at the press conferences and all that other shit. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that the approach that Khabib's in I don't even know that it was Khabib. I think it was just his team. I don't remember if it was actually him involved too, because there was speculation back and forth. Who cares? It's in the past. But regardless of any of it, none of it was handled correctly. And I feel like the biggest thing is Conor said a bunch of crazy shit in the media too, about his religion, about his family, about his friends. So, yeah, sure, it's all trash talk, but, sometimes it crosses the line. And, and that's the only reason why I'm not saying that Khabib was, I'm not saying that he was justified in doing what they did with, yo, what up, Tyler? But none of it was handled correctly. That's why that shit escalated to a point, and the UFC just used it as promo. So where we thought that it was going to be too far and too much, it actually turned into a promo, and they just used it to their advantage. I'm not surprised. The UFC does things to make money. Tony also accused Khabib's team of circling his family. So that's, and remember, who was part of that team? Who was part of the ones that did that? Who was part of the ones that jumped in the cage and doing crazy shit in the cage? You know who was a part of that? Islam Makhachev. And look where he is now. So, I feel like, I do understand where you're coming from with that, Gizmo. By the way, appreciate you for jumping in, Gizmo. I got right to reacting to what you said. So I meant to say thanks for coming in. I don't think I've seen you in here before. Appreciate the interaction. I like it when people agree. I like it when people disagree, and we could talk about it. That's the whole fun about having a chat. So appreciate the interaction, man, and the differences and, you know, stuff like that, and being able to talk to me about it, you know, back and forth instead of, yes, thank you, Tyler. Artem Lobov. I couldn't think of his fucking name. I was just thinking about the situation. Appreciate that, Tyler. But yeah, it's just his team. I understand it, and I feel like Khabib held himself differently than I feel like he held himself up a little bit differently than his team had. But you know, I think it's because he's the leader. I don't know, kind of. You know, I don't know. It was a weird situation, but Zabira Tagura versus Artem Lobov at the White House. Yeah. They're not letting either one of those motherfuckers near the White House. I'll tell you that. Anyway, yeah, so that's the Sean Strickland shit, man. I just wanted to touch on that real quick because, you know, like I said, he said some crazy shit, so had to react to it. But yeah, other stuff happening this weekend. I know that there's some boxing happening this weekend. Inouye's fighting. I forgot everybody that was fighting. There's like 3 different boxing matches or 2 different boxing matches happening this weekend. I believe PFL's happening this weekend too. But you know how PFL goes. Cop versus Horiguchi. Yeah, that's dope. That's gonna be a good fight. But yeah, so the Sean does have good wrestling. DDP now, and Khamzat in the past when they were friends said Sean is a harder fight than harder fight than DDP. Yeah, that's the thing, is that's what's interesting about this, is the fact that Sean and Khamzat trained in the past. So and Khamzat, yeah, he's straight up. I think he's telling the truth, and that's why I think that Sean has a better chance than DDP did. I don't know that DDP knew what to do with what Khamzat was throwing at him, and because Sean has seen it before and he kind of knows the exact style that's coming at him, I think he has a better opportunity, unless Khamzat just runs right through him like he did with DDP, you know what I'm saying? So Yoel versus Khamzat. No, this is actually Yoel versus Nicholson, or fucking, what is his goddamn name? He fought in Dirty Boxing, and yeah, I'm just tripping out that Yoel Romero's fighting. Like, what the fuck? He was supposed to be fighting other guy who used to be in the UFC, other Cuban dude. What the fuck was his name? Man, my brain is not working right now. They should do Yoel versus Khamzat and Raf. That would actually be interesting as fuck. Yoel versus Khamzat and Raf. Holy shit. Yeah, that's a good shot right there. How much longer do you think Yoel will compete? I don't know, man, motherfucker. I don't think anybody really knows how old he is. He's like a fucking Cuban experiment. No, but for real, I think Prime Yoel is the biggest nightmare matchup for Khamzat. No, you're not wrong, Tyler. I think that would actually. I think he's still a good matchup for him right now. Just because he's older doesn't count him out completely. Yeah, I know the age takes a toll and stuff like that. Maybe he's not have as quick of a step as he used to, but I think he's strong enough. He's a fucking specimen, dude. I don't know how the fuck it looks the way he does. I mean, he looks like he's fucking barely 30, and he's probably 40. Fucking 6 or something, 47. I don't know. He's fucking older for sure, which is insane. Anyway, yeah, you got Gamebred Bareknuckle MMA happening this weekend as well. Here's your full card, and let me see. Do I have? Yeah. So Romero versus Nicholson in that main event. Palomino versus Horcher. Yoel had incredible takedown defense. It was explosive, but he was low output for its 50-50 fight in their primes. Oh yeah, I get that. Yeah, he's definitely explosive. I understand what you're saying with you know, he doesn't have high output whatsoever, but I do think in Raf that would be interesting as hell. I think that would be a great matchup. So yeah, you got Gamebred Bareknuckle MMA happening this weekend, and it's live and free on YouTube, so you can check that out. They always have it free on YouTube, so yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Bareknuckle MMA, right? And Yoel Romero, I can't believe this motherfucker. But Nicholson, he used to fight in the UFC as well, but he fought Dirty Boxing against Rob Perez. Rob Perez beat him there. And I think Nicholson has fought in a couple of other organizations as well. But Hector Lombard is who Yoel Romero was supposed to fight. That would have been an insane fight because Hector Lombard is crazy. And so is Romero. So that was supposed to be the fight, but I think they're going to match him up after this. I think Hector had a problem with some injury or something like that. Also, I never got to hear your answer, Biggie. How was your work day today? Pretty tiring, man. Pretty tiring. But we got everything done we needed to get done for the most part that we were in control of. So we got everything done. Pretty wiped out from this past week. It's been pretty physically demanding. Lots of going up and down stairs, up and down ladders, non-stop. The location we're working at is everything spread out far away, different floors and stuff. The elevator was dead in the area we were working at, so we had to climb the stairs, and it's a lot of back and forth. So yeah, 5 a.m. is when I wake up every day for work, so that didn't change out here. We worked long days, but it was more longer in the afternoons than anything. We left like half hour earlier than I would normally, but other than that, yeah, we just worked a few hours late. It was like 10-hour days basically. What do you think is the hardest day you've ever had on the job? Oh, that was a while back. I had a few hard days a long time ago when stuff was way harder. Yeah, I probably worked about a 20 hour day one time because I was on call, and I literally got home and I got called back out, and then I wound up having to go back out later that night and drive out of town. So it was a pretty rough day. But yeah, anyway, Gamebred Bareknuckle MMA happening this weekend. You can check that out and see if Yoel Romero can keep winning with the age and everything. With the late replacement here and being the level that Nicholson's at, I'm pretty sure Yoel, if he can take advantage right away, I think he has a good chance of getting the win here. And then we can watch him and Hector Lombard fight down the road sometime in the near future, because that'll be a damn good matchup. So that brings us over to UFC Perth. The big event for the weekend for the UFC. And remember, this is happening early in the morning. For me, it's going to be at 4 a.m., which is insane. And that also means I will be doing a watch party. So I'm going to be getting up. As of right now, that it's on. I'm doing the watch party. So Prates by KO. That's right, Gizmo. That's kind of what I'm looking for, man. But I think Jack Della, he's got some crispy boxing, man. He's got some crispy striking. So I think that he's gonna give him a problem. And you know, does the fact that when is that again? Oh, it's Saturday, but early in the morning. For us, Infinity, it's 4 a.m. But yeah, so I kind of feel like, yeah, this Saturday. Yep. I kind of feel like Jack Della is going to give him a tough fight. Maybe it'll be Prates' toughest fight, you know, aside from obviously Ian Gary that he lost to. But here's the thing. Prates just didn't show up, really. Prates didn't really show up for that fight against Gary until the 5th round, basically, when he kind of got that knockdown against Gary. So if he would have turned it up like that sooner in the fight, he might have been able to get the win against Ian Gary, but he didn't. So that cost him his only loss in the UFC. And you think you'll wake up at 1? No, Antoine, I don't really give a shit about the prelims. I do, but I'm just gonna watch them later. I'll be up early enough to get the stream started and be ready for that main card. I'm not gonna stay up and wait for all of it, because I just think that just scold him, just use his range. Ian Gary took the fight on short notice, probably why he gassed. Oh yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying, in that fight alone, if Prates would have turned it up sooner, might have been a better fight, you know. But the fact that he didn't just cost him that fight, and he was able to take advantage, just not enough of the fact that, yeah. But there's no doubt that Ian Gary took that fight all the way through. Obviously, like I said, I think he won all 4 rounds. And Prates just didn't show up, man. I'm not trying to take anything away from Gary, because I actually like Ian Gary a lot, and I feel like he, you know, if he gets his title shot next, I think he stands a decent chance. I do like Ian Gary, but yeah, I just feel like if Prates just didn't show up for that fight, man, I don't know what the fuck he was doing or thinking, but yeah, it's tough. I thought Ian Gary's footwork gave him massive issues and Ian took it on short notice. Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. But, you know, short notice or not, motherfucker got the win. So, you know, so I'm not taking any of that away from him for sure. But I think this is going to be a great main event, you know, especially being that it's in Perth. We'll see if Jack Della can step up and get the win. But, you know, Prates is tough and he brings a unique style. And I think he's definitely a good matchup for Jack as far as competitively. It's not a good matchup as far as, you know, for JDM to just beat him. I think it's a good matchup for us to be able to see a good fight. And that's what I'm counting on. So let's get started with the main card. And we'll go from the bottom of the main card to the main event, and then we'll cover the prelims. So that's how we've been doing it lately. So I just keep that going. I think it's a good format. Gary's extremely fast and rangy, and his footwork is next level with decent grappling. He just beat Prates everywhere, outstriked him, and mixed in the wrestling. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree at all. I mean, I definitely think he won that fight easily, you know, with the way that he fought. I just think at the end, you know, sure, he gassed it. It was a short notice or whatever, but I think if Prates would have taken the fight to him a little sooner, it would have made it a more competitive fight. But, you know, that's in the past. It is what it is. You know, what if, you know what I mean? We're all going to be up for this. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be up for this one. Doing the watch party too. So tune in live on Saturday morning for the main card. And you know, just come back to this channel, hit that notification bell if you're subscribed, and if you're not subscribed, please do that now. I'd appreciate that. And if nothing else, at least drop a like in the video. That helps me and helps my channel. So if you don't mind doing at least that, and if you're not subscribed already, please do that as well. Hit that notification bell, you'll know when I go live. Main card live reactions, watch party, that's what I'm doing. It'll be me by myself. Usually watch parties, I have people in the room with me, but you know, it's early morning, nobody's gonna want to get up for that, so I'll be doing it alone, which is cool because I get to actually do a little bit of play-by-play type shit and react a lot more because it's just me. I don't have other distractions or anybody else's input coming through except for you guys, so I can literally talk back and forth with you guys in the chat as well as react live and, like I said, play-by-play type shit. I'm you know, yeah, exactly, Infinity. But there's you know, obviously I'm not a professional, you know, play-by-play guy or none of that bullshit, but I'm just saying, you know, talking about the fights as we go through and actually, you know, analyzing it a little bit and paying attention to everything that's going on. And so it's fun. I like it. So yeah, tune in for that Saturday live for the main card. Let's move into the first matchup. It's interactive though, and that makes a difference. Yeah, for sure. We start with Tai Tuivasa versus Louis Sutherland. Fuck, man. I love Tai Tuivasa. I do. But this motherfucker is on a 6-fight losing streak. 6 fucking fight losing streak. How the fuck he's still in the UFC? Well, because he's entertaining. He's a personality, and when he wins, he does shoeies, and he's chugging beers on the way out, on his walkout and stuff, you know, walking back into the back. So not walking out to the cage, but walking to the back when the fight's done. But he'll do a shoey on the cage and shit. So, you know, he's a fan favorite. People love him. That's what happens with a lot of these guys. You know, you get to be a fan favorite, and the UFC will keep you around a little longer because you bring eyes. But is he still ranked? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Yeah, I believe he finally lost that, Tyler. But he is in the heavyweight division, so you gotta think about that. But yeah, as of right now, it looks like for Tapology they're showing him as number 28, but that's not the UFC's ranking. So I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, I don't think he's not in the top 15. So if he is, I'd be surprised. I think the last time, actually, I could look it up real fast, right? What am I talking about? UFC rankings. I would be interested to see, just because you never know, man. The UFC rankings are fucking whack sometimes. So you can never put anything past them, and you never know. There could be a slight chance that he's still in there. Nope. He's not ranked in the top 15 anymore. I think the last time he was ranked, he was at 15 still. So I want to see Ty versus Asplund. Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun. I don't know. I think Walter Walker took his spot. Yeah, I mean, Walter Walker definitely deserves that. But yeah, Louis Sutherland, I don't know, man. He's 0-2, and he hasn't looked very good. So, I mean, can Ty finally bounce back with... I mean, this is the right opponent to give him because he's on a losing streak too, just not as bad as Ty. So... can he bounce back with this one? Can he get the win? I don't know. You know, he's got an 8-9 record in the UFC, but 13 KO TKOs. That's a good number. He's only lost 3 times by that. He's got 0 subs. He's lost 3 times there as well, and he's 1-3 by decision. He has a losing record in everything, including his UFC record. His MMA record is not a losing record, but you know, but he's got a losing record in everything finish wise except for KO TKO. So yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of KOs, but he's got to get there, and he's got to be able to do it, and he hasn't done it in a minute. So Louis Sutherland, 0-2 in the UFC, 10-5 overall, 8-1 by KO TKO, 0-1 by sub, 2-3 by decision. So he's even got a similar like lineup there for a record. You know what I mean? Losing record in the UFC, losing record in everything but KO TKOs, and his overall MMA event. They're close in age. They're 32 and 33. So it seems like the right matchup, right? But you know, is it the right matchup skill wise? That's something that I don't know. If it's really a good matchup as far as that goes, you know, Louis Sutherland is not like he's not the best fighter out there. We haven't seen a whole lot from him. He looked like a beast coming in to the UFC, but he's had trouble since he's gotten here, and he's 0-2, and he's lost to Brando Pierchik, who's fighting on this card as well. He got TKO'd by him, which was a nasty TKO by him, and then he got subbed by Walter Walker. So he actually got a harder fight than he had before. Yeah, he's probably better than Sean Sharaf though. Maybe. I forgot that this was a late replacement. I had it in my notes right here. What a dummy. But anyway, yeah, Walter Walker by heel hook, Pierchik by TKO. So that's what we're looking at with Louis Sutherland. Before that, I mean, he was a champion in a different organization. And what up, Tua? And it looked like he was on a 4-fight win streak before he came into the UFC. So winning by every which way. TKOs and decisions. So, you know, he's looking for his first UFC win, first official UFC win, and Tai Tuivasa is looking to get away from this 6-fight losing streak, which is absolutely insane. So Tuivasa is, I mean, obviously a pure knockout puncher with a bunch of KOs, as we said before. Sutherland's got 8 finishes by KO himself, but neither one of them are cardio machines. You need to give yourself some play-by-play credit, E. That's how I found your channel when I couldn't catch a pay-per-view. You had great commentary, better than all the watch parties. Oh, thanks. Appreciate that, 78 Northwest. Yeah, I mean, I try my best, you know what I mean? When I'm able to sit there and really lock in and pay attention to the fights and not have the side distractions, which I love having my boys with me in the room when we do it all together too. That shit is fun. But yeah, I can definitely lock in a little more and you know, do play-by-play type shit and stuff like that when I'm by myself. So, you know, it's a different aspect, so it makes for fun watch parties and a little bit of a difference, you know? So appreciate that, 78. But yeah, neither one of these guys are known for their cardio whatsoever or their grappling. And that's kind of why this might be a good matchup. Oh shit, Antoine, here you go.
Smoke weed every day.
But yeah, I mean, average fight time is like under 2 minutes for Sutherland. So that's usually makes for an entertaining fight, whether he wins or loses. And with Tai Tuivasa, that's perfect for him. You come out there with a killer be killed mentality, and he's going to do the same, and we'll see who comes out, you know, standing. So I think Tuivasa is a bit more durable though. You know, he's been in there with legit top heavyweights, and he you know, he's been through some battles, and he's fought through some adversity. He just doesn't always come out with the win. So Sutherland hasn't really shown a lot of survival mentality. So I mean, this is kind of one of those matchups where it's like, kill or be killed again in a different way as far as with your career, because to whoever loses this might get cut. I mean, I think after 7 in a row, you might have to cut Tai Tuivasa if he loses again to a guy who's 0-2. But if you lose your 3rd in a row, being Louis Sutherland, and not having really shown a whole lot going into the UFC, you're probably going to want to be careful with that and try to get this win, and you're probably going to get cut if you lose. So there's some high stakes in this as far as career-wise goes for both of these guys. So hopefully that just means we get a hell of a show out of them. So we'll move on to the next fight, and we got Shamil Gaziev versus Brando Perichik. I don't remember which way it's said. But yeah, he's the one that knocked out Louis Sutherland in their last fight. He's 2-0 in the UFC, 6-1 overall. He's 5-0 by KO TKO, 1-1 by sub, and 0-0 by decision, which is a good thing, because that means he's looking for a finish, or else he gets finished. And he's only been finished once, and that's by submission. While Gaziev only has 3 submissions and never been finished on the ground. He's 9-2 by KO TKO and 2-0 by decision. So a little bit of a better record in all of those there for Gaziev. Except for the KO TKO, he's been finished twice, while Perichik hasn't. So, but Gaziev is 3-2 in the UFC, 14-2 overall. He's coming off a loss, while Perichik's coming off, a 2-fight win streak. So this should be an interesting fight. Maybe we get some action out of this one as well. Let's look at Shamil Gaziev as far as who he's coming off that loss to, and I think it was Waldo Cortez Acosta, that TKO. He's part of that run that Cortez had going for a minute there, and before that he beat Dontel Mays by decision and Thomas Peterson by TKO. So Gaziev is good, man. It's just Waldo Cortez Acosta was on that run, and he just couldn't match up with him for that one. So yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, Gaziev, he's coming off the loss, so he's definitely going to be hungry to get back in that win column. He's got some durability. As you can see against Rosenstruck, his face was kind of messed up there, but he was still getting some hits in on Rosenstruck. And, it just, his defense is a little suspect. Acosta kind of exposed that a little bit. So he absorbs a lot of shit, a lot of stuff thrown at him. But like I said, he's durable. So it's just you get hit that much and it becomes a problem. And then you're fighting someone who's never been finished on their feet and has 5 wins that way, as well as is coming off his last fight, winning by TKO over Louis Sutherland. So, and his first fight in the UFC was a TKO win as well against Elisha Ellison, where he got a performance of the night bonus. Both first round finishes, and both around the 150 mark. So yeah, I mean, he's got 2 quick finishes, and Shamil Gaziev needs to be careful with this one because he does get hit a lot. Like I said, he may be durable, but how many shots can you take? And Cortez Acosta showed what happens with that. So Perichik, he lands a lot of significant strikes and he has power. So that's possibly going to be the potential danger for Gaziev. But Gaziev has the experience. Maybe his fight IQ is gonna shine in this one, and with that durability that he has, maybe he got his defense going a little better after that Acosta lost. So Perichik is a lot faster though, and he's dangerous early, and he finishes early all the time. So that's going to be the opposite side of Gaziev's fight IQ and his experience in the cage. So he's just going to have to keep that defense up, man, and weather the early storm, and maybe bring it to Perichik before Perichik gets a hold of him and finishes him early like he has in his previous opponents. So I feel like this has potential to be a really good fight as well. That's why I'm into this main card, man. That's why I'm really okay with getting up super early to watch these fights, but also be able to sit and do the watch party as well. So I think it's going to be a fun one. Perth comes through with some good fights sometimes, so we'll see how this one goes. Next up, we have a fight that doesn't really seem... that didn't work. Hold on. For some reason, that didn't go away. There we go. yeah, so Marwan Rahiki versus Ollie Schmid, and I think Schmid is stepping in. Yeah, because Jack Jenkins was supposed to fight Rahiki, but he got injured. So Marwan Rahiki is now fighting Ollie Schmid, who is making his UFC debut. So Perchek does finish early, unfortunately, for his wife.
Damn, son.
Oh shit, I missed that one until I saw Infinity laughing, and I was wondering what he was laughing at. Would I ever visit Australia? Listen, man, I don't want to be on a plane for that long, for one. And for two, there's a lot of shit that can just kill you out there. Yeah, crazy animals, yeah, for sure. So that's I don't know, for me, man, I don't feel like that's I think it sounds good to say I would like to go there, but fuck all that, man. Beautiful women though. Yeah, hey, there's some hot Australian women that fight. So yeah, you're not wrong about that one. But I don't know about that flight or dealing with everything out there that can kill you easily. But what are you doing in a dark forest with MEJs? What? What are you talking about, Tyler? But yeah, I don't know that I need that. I don't even know that I need that flight in my life. So yeah, Rahiki was supposed to fight Jack Jenkins, and that's not happening now. Now he's fighting Ollie Schmid, making his UFC debut. But Rahiki's the guy that Heppy, the BKFC guy. Oh, okay. I was like, what? How long is the flight? Oh, geez. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was like 14 or 16 hours. Yeah, that's insane, man. Insane. Welcome in, by the way. Appreciate you for jumping in, Infinity's mom. Thank you so much. Yeah, 14, 16 hours. That's absolutely insane. I'm tripping out about the flight that I have to take here in less than a month, because yeah, I just going from I'm gonna be like on a I think it's like a 6-hour flight, maybe. I don't remember. Taiwan was 14 hours when I went. Holy shit. Yeah, first class would be the way to go if you can spend that money, for sure. For a flight that long, hell yeah. But yeah, man, I'm not good on planes. It's always I've always thought Middle Eastern and Asian women were gorgeous. Yeah, there's definitely some out there for sure. Got a buzz, fell asleep, woke up, then did it again, was in business class. Oh shit. I don't know if I can sleep, man. That I just get too anxious. It's a lot to handle. But yeah, Rahiki's the guy that broke the jaw with an elbow for Harry Hardwick in his last fight, where he got fight of the night bonus with Harry Hardwick. Stopped him by TKO after that second round because of the jaw being broken, and that was a nasty elbow by Rahiki. He looked damn good in that fight too. He finished his Contender Series fight to get into the UFC by TKO in the second round as well. So it seems like second round finishes are the way that he goes. Ollie Schmid last fight was a dude fighting out of Guam with a 5-6 record. Oh my god, he's about to get stomped. Because Rahiki's no joke, man. Undefeated at 8-0, 1-0 in the UFC with that finishing elbow that broke Hardwick's jaw. So that's crazy. A crazy UFC debut. 7-0 by KO TKO, 1-0 by sub. No wins or losses by decision, and obviously coming off that win. Ollie Schmid making his UFC debut, 4-2 overall, 3-1 by KO TKO, 0-1 by sub, 1-0 by decision. He's on a 3-fight win streak, but obviously outside of the UFC. So he's definitely fighting a different level of competition coming into the UFC. And Rahiki already showed some promise with that first round or that second round TKO and the broken jaw. Who do you think is the most gorgeous actress of all time? Infinity? I don't even know what I would answer, even if you were asking me, honestly. But Infinity might have an interesting answer for you. Just one? I knew he was going to say something like that. But yeah, Schmid, he is coming from, what is this? Shuriken Fight Series. He's on a 3-fight win streak there. 1 decision and 2 TKOs, 2 first-round TKOs coming into the UFC. So, yeah, before that, he lost once. And, yeah, so he's been on a decent win streak. But I don't know, Rahiki with that elbow, the way that he looked with his striking. Hardwick was durable as hell, but that elbow was just nasty. Ooh, Selma Hayek's a good one. Yeah, we'll see if he can match up with Rahiki, because yeah, I think Rahiki's like one of those guys that's going to be on a hot streak, and I don't know if Schmid's really ready for that type of opponent. So, especially on a short notice replacement, you know what I mean? Rahiki, he's got 100% finishing rate. You know, we talked about the knockouts and the broken jaw, and he lands a lot of significant strikes per minute, and he's got good defense. So he's aggressive and accurate, and not interested in making the fight last all 3 rounds usually. So, but the preparation, the experience, Rahiki's already proven he's can hang in the UFC with what he's done in his 1 fight. But he's gonna have the momentum to get the finish here and to get the win. But Schmid can come in and be one of those guys, kind of like what Ethan Ewing did, came in and beat Malcolm Wellmaker, who was on a big win streak and finishing people left and right. And I know Rahiki's only been in that 1 fight, but he did the same thing in not the exact same thing, but he finished quickly in the Contender Series fight that he was in as well. So Ollie Schmid has a nice opportunity here to make a big splash, making his UFC debut. So I never count out the guys making their debuts, because while they might not have seen the kind of opposition that they're facing in the UFC, they might still surprise you and start off their win streak the way that Rahiki did. So it's always a toss-up and always a possibility, so don't count them out completely. And I'm not betting, so that's how that goes. I just realized I didn't actually make official picks. So before I do my fight wheel predictions, I will make my picks and then we'll do the fight wheel predictions. So we'll do that when we get to it. Obviously, at the near the end of the show, I'll make the fight wheel predictions. So yeah, how are the Knicks doing? I've been hearing about the playoffs, but I haven't really been following. So that's Marwan Rahiki versus Ollie Schmid in the featherweight division. Next up, we have an interesting fight between Tim Elliott versus Steve Erceg. So Erceg, came out hot and was impressive, and that landed him a title fight that he was not able to pull off against Pantoja. But he gave it a good fight. Won the series 140-89. Nice. Okay. That'll make Helwani happy, huh? He's a huge fucking Knicks fan. That's where I hear about the damn Knicks all the time. But Tim Elliott, almost 40, and he looks like he's fucking 50 something with that beard and that receding hairline. He looks crazy as hell. But look at that record, 21-13, 10-11 in the UFC. That's tough, man. 3-1 by KO TKO, 8-6 by sub, 10-6 by decision. He looks like the Liver King. He kind of does, except smaller. This is the flyweight division. That's 125. He's like not even a third of the Liver King. Maybe he is. Liver King's not that big as far as Liver King Natty. There you go. But he's on a 2-fight win streak for Tim Elliott. It's been a minute since we've seen him, I think. I don't even remember the last one. But yeah, he's definitely a vet, and he's been around for a minute. But Erceg is, he's impressive. He's 4-3 in the UFC. He had a rough time since he got off that loss in the title fight that he had against Pantoja. So he had some trouble after that. But he seems like he's back on the path of winning. He's coming off of a win right now. 4-3 in the UFC, 2-1 by KO TKO, 6-0 by sub, 5-3 by decision, and coming off that win, like I said. So let's take a look at Tim Elliott. He was coming off of 2 wins, and those wins were over Kaya Sakura, where he beat him by guillotine in the second round, got a performance of the night bonus. That was his last fight back in August. I forgot all about that fight. And then he beat Sumadarji by sub as well, by arm triangle. Also got a performance of the night bonus in that one. So coming off of 2 wins in a row, 2 subs in a row, and 2 performance of the night bonuses, Tim Elliott's a beast. And Usyk will definitely bring the fight to him. So this has another opportunity to be a really good fight. Steve Usyk's coming off a win over Ode Osborne by decision. Before that, he lost to Brandon Moreno, a former champ, Kai Kara France, a former contender, still a contender actually, and then the title loss to Alexander Pantoja. So 3 losses in a row after losing that title fight, but he bounced back with a win over Ode Osborne, who is a tough opponent. I wouldn't say he's like the hardest opponent you can fight, but I mean, Ode's pretty good. But Steve Usyk's, I think, on another level, even with those 3 losses in a row. Ode's got a lot of losses on his record, unfortunately. He's a good dude and he's a decent fighter, but yeah, Usyk, that was a good bounce back win for Usyk, I think, and that's gonna propel him into possibly winning this one against Tim Elliott. But Tim Elliott's a dog, man, and he's got a lot of experience in there. I'm liking this fight card more the more you go through it. Oh yeah, man, for sure. I like me too. When I was prepping, I was just like, holy shit, I kind of forgot like how good this card is actually. I've just been so caught up in everything else I'm doing and being out of town and focusing on work and stuff, I kind of forgot. So as I'm prepping throughout the week, I'm just like, holy shit, I forgot how good this main card is, especially. So yeah, I'm excited. That's why I was just like, there's no damn way I'm not going to do this watch party. So that's exactly why I'm doing it. And I feel like there's a lot of really good potential with these matchups in this card. So I'm excited about it, and I'm definitely excited to do the watch party for it as well. But yeah, Tim Elliott, with all the experience he has in there, you think Steve ever fights for a belt again? I think he has potential too. I mean, he's only 30 years old. He is the favorite. He's a heavy favorite in this one, minus 400 over Tim Elliott, who's a plus 300 underdog. But I do think Steve Usyk has potential. I think he got propelled a little too fast into that title fight that he took against Pantoja. But Pantoja kind of ran through the division for the most part. So with as good as Usyk was doing, I feel like, that warranted that title shot, but I still feel like it came a little bit early. So I think after he gets a few more good wins under his belt and gets back in the groove of winning, and if he can put together a few wins in a row, I think he has potential to get back up there and get a title shot again. And we'll see. We got to see, because, Joshua Van has that title right now, but it's going to be a tough next fight for him. So Usyk about to be the best gatekeeper of all time. That's actually a good possibility as well too, not gonna lie. Also, did you hear about what happened to Tim Elliott? He got arrested on child. That wasn't Tim Elliott, that was Tim Means. That was the Dirty Bird, Tim Means. So but yeah, that was interesting. Apparently he headbutted his daughter and punched her or something, according to the report, allegedly. But he did get arrested, so that's sad to hear, considering, I just don't, my daughters piss me off all the time, but I just couldn't see myself headbutting them or injuring them in that fashion or taking a swing at them. They can swing at me all they want, but yeah, headbutt the baby girl's crazy. Apparently she's 17 years old too. Now, don't get me wrong, 17-year-old girls are a pain in the ass. Believe me, I know. I have 2 of them that were 17 at some point. Yeah, she was 17. But yeah, man, fucking tough. And that's why, I can understand, like, he said that he did it to, not the headbutt thing, apparently, yes, however, it's a female child. Yeah, 100%, man. It doesn't, that's why I say, like, I could never, it ain't as bad as I thought. But, he said that he was, the marks on her were from him having to restrain her because she was, like, going nuts on him or whatever. But to me, I'm just like, bro, I just couldn't see myself, injuring one of my daughters like that. So it's just, yeah, is it a felony? More than likely. He got out already. He's out of jail already, but, he's got a court date coming and stuff. So yeah, that one's tough, man. I hate to see it. Are there levels to it? I mean, I think so. I think it just depends on the amount of damage and whether they, I don't know, because I mean, it is considered child abuse. That could be considered a felony when it comes down to it. anything you do against a minor, yeah, shit's a little more elevated. If he gets convicted, there will be a different type of justice. Oh, yeah, exactly. People in jail don't fuck around with you messing with kids. That's for damn sure. So, anyway, yeah, so I mean, with Ursig, I feel like he's got potential here. Especially if he beats a vet like Tim Elliott, who's on a on a win streak right now too. It's not like he's gonna be beating an older guy that is like on a losing streak on his way out. Tim Elliott, he goes through. You saw his mugshot. He looks like he's struggling. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, no one's gonna be happy about going into jail, so you're always gonna look like shit in your mugshot. But he does have some pain in his eyes, and a lot of that might be regret if he did what he did, or if he did what they're saying he did. Some of it might just be because, he got put in a bad position, and if he really was trying to, keep her from harming herself or somebody else or him, and the only thing he could do was restrain her. I don't know how that's possible to, bloody up her face for any reason, but, gotta hear him out, I guess. I don't know. It's a tough situation, man. But, here's the thing. There's always going to be a second side to the story. So he's going to go to court. We'll find out, I guess. So yeah, Ursig though, he's had a hard time post UFC. Oh yeah. I mean, I get that too, but that doesn't make, that's not an excuse for doing something like that if he actually did it. Looked like he unkept. I mean, he hasn't always been like the looker or anything, so I don't know. Oh, it's hard to tell from a mugshot, man. I haven't really kept up with him much past after he's been out of the UFC, so I just hate hearing shit like that for sure. But Ursig, no titty. Ursig is, he's trying to bounce back from all those losses and get right with the wins. I think that this is a good opportunity for him to do that if he can stay a step above Tim Elliott. But Tim Elliott's a dog, man. He's coming off of 2 wins with 2 performance bonuses, which means he's gonna bring the fight to him. I would assume Ursig's gonna want to keep it standing, but Elliott's game is more of like trying to constant pressure and awkward kind of positions and entries and stuff. He makes fights messy, and that plays to his advantage because of his fight style. So that's something that Ursig's gonna have to battle with and find a way around and make the best of. So if he can get through the weird awkwardness of Tim Elliott and be able to make him fight his fight or surpass that weird style of Elliott's and find ways in, Ursig has a good chance of winning. But Tim Elliott might be able to stifle him with that awkwardness and bring the upset to the favorite here. So with Tim Elliott being that much of an underdog, it's worth a shot betting on that, just because with that experience and the win streak he's on, he might be able to get the best of Ursig. So that could be a damn good play, either straight up or in a parlay. But I think Ursig could win the decision with the good striking if he doesn't let Elliott drag him into this weird battle of awkwardness and chaos and scrambles and stuff, because that's kind of what Tim Elliott is best at. So I feel like we haven't seen the worst one yet. Oh, you're right, 100%. I'm saying that's another post UFC story gone bad. Oh, I got you. I don't know if we'll see UFC fighter do something like Chris Benoit, but it could be something crazy. Yeah, I think Chris Benoit had a lot of head trauma and brain damage from, but yeah, nothing's to say that somebody in the UFC couldn't suffer something like that as well. So yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen anything crazy like that happen from anyone coming from the UFC for the most part, but you never know. It's still pretty much a young sport, you know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, that does it for Ursig and Elliott. I think it's got potential to be a really good fight as well. I keep saying that, but that's just how all of these fights are on this main card. And yeah, I think Ursig and Elliott are going to be active, and it's going to be entertaining for sure. So next up we got, oh my god, this fight, man. I don't even know what anybody was thinking when it came to this matchup. Do you remember where you were when you heard that news in 07? I don't remember, but I do know that it caught me off guard, and it was crazy because I knew Chris Benoit from wrestling when I did watch it. So, and I kind of actually liked him when his character in WWE. So, he's just one of those guys I knew and kind of followed a little bit. So it just sucked to hear that, especially for the way that went down. Like, yeah, that's horrible, man. It's horrible. It was a bad story. So, yeah, it's nuts. But I don't remember I don't remember where I was with a lot of shit, to be honest with you. But I just remember the feeling I got when I actually read that, and I had to like double and triple check that I was reading that correctly and that it was real. But speaking of another tragedy, this matchup, that's a horrible transition, but holy shit, why do you think he was genuinely a good wrestler? I mean, for the WWE, yes. I mean, I loved his character. I loved his I guess his I don't know. I mean, the crippler was an awesome move, a finishing move, and you know, I just felt like he just looked like a badass. And the more I think about it, though, he kind of looked a little crazy. So I think it was just one of those things where I was caught up in wrestling in the moment. So it's not like he was my favorite wrestler or anything like that. He was just one of the guys that caught my attention. So yeah, but dude, Beneil Dariush is 36, but he looks like he's 46, 47, maybe 50. But he's 23-7 overall, 17-7 in the UFC, 5-6 by KO TKO, which is a bad sign for him considering we know what Quill and Cell can do with knocking people out. He's only 4-0 by KO TKO, but those knockouts are extreme. So I know he didn't talk trash, so what made him so popular? I mean, I don't know if he was super popular. I just think that his wrestling style and his finishing moves and stuff like that just caught people's attention, and I don't remember a whole lot of details when it comes to the wrestling game from back then, but I just remember certain people and things that stuck with me, that's all. So, but yeah, I think with Quill and Kilden, those four KO TKO wins have been fantastic. So that's what sets him aside from Dariush. And Beneil's chin is gone, unfortunately. You're right, Antoine, for sure. So we haven't, I mean, Dariush has just not done well lately, even in the win that he's gotten in between some losses against Renato Moicano. Moicano just looked really bad in that fight, for one. And for two, Moicano actually dropped Dariush at one point in time, too, in that fight. So Dariush came out with the unanimous decision win, but I think it was more about Moicano being off than it was about Dariush really getting the best of him. And then he missed weight against Benoit Saint Denis in his last fight, where he got TKO'd in the first round, 16 seconds into the first round against BSD. So before that, he lost to Armin Tsarukyan as well in the first round by TKO. He lost to Charles Oliveira in the first round by TKO. So Quillen Selkild is gonna have a field day here, bro. I hate to say it, but it's true. Because Quillen, he's 4-0 by KO TKO, 4-1 by sub, 3-0 by decision. He's only got that one loss on his record, 11 wins. He's 4-0 in the UFC on a 4-fight win streak, obviously. And Selkild is a favorite, a heavy favorite, minus 440, while Dariush is a plus 335 underdog. Now this makes more sense. The Tim Elliott versus Steve Erceg fight, Erceg's minus 400, Elliott is minus 300. I mean plus 300. Like, I don't know that it should be that big of a gap, considering Elliott's on a win streak. Erceg's just coming off of a 3-fight losing streak and only has one win since then. So yeah, the odds are a bit skewed there. But what I will say is Selkild should be able to get a first round finish in this one, considering Dariush's chin, the fact that he's been on a horrible streak lately, even though he got the win over Moicano, like I said. But you know, I mean, he got finished in 16 seconds against BSD in his last fight, and BSD is a beast, but Selkild, with the finishes that he's had in the UFC, like, come on, man, it's a different level. And I know that the opposition was a different type of, you know, fighter as well, but he beat Jamie Malarkey by submission, by rear naked choke, with a performance of the night bonus there. That was in the first round. He beat Nasrat Haqparast with that head kick where he took his soul in the first round. He got a performance of the night bonus on that one as well. He got a decision win over Yanel Ajmus. And then he beat Anshul Jubli by TKO in the first round, 19 seconds into the first round, where he also got a performance of the night bonus. So 3 out of his 4 fights in the UFC have been finishes, and all 3 of those finishes were in the first round and got performance of the night bonuses. So he's only had 1 decision win in his UFC career, and the rest of them have been finishes by the first round and performance of the night bonuses. That says a lot when you have Dariush, who's been finished easily by 16 seconds in his last fight. Do you think Quinlan fights for a belt one day? Quinlan got the juice now. Nasrat hasn't fought since then. Yeah, he got fucking murked by Selkild. Yeah, I mean, I think Selkild, he's got it. This is a jumping competition for him, obviously, even though we know Beneil's kind of track record lately. But I do think that Selkild, if he wins this fight, it's a big name under his belt, a vet, and somebody who, you know, was in contention for a belt at one point in time. So I think that it's a good win for Selkild. This is that, you know, that normal type of shit where they're building somebody off of someone else's name. I don't think Dariush has the biggest name, but he's well known, and he's a vet. So, you know, they're just trying to build Selkild a little more. Do you think MMA coaches make a lot of money, or are they better with fighting? I have no idea, man. Honestly, I mean, they have to get paid for being a coach, and if they have a high level fighter getting paid a lot, I'm sure they're going to get a decent amount. But I mean, I think it's, you know, situational. So but yeah, I think Selkild, he just pushes a higher pace, and he's got so many you know, more significant strikes per minute than Dariush, and he's more active, more explosive. Dariush seems to have this tentative, you know, nature to him. He can hit hard, we know that, and we know he's got power, but the thing, you know, and he's got the skills. He has submission skills. He has a lot of experience. But Selkild's shown that he can, you know, wrestle offensively and finish fights. So, I mean, I don't even know, with the way that BSD fight went down with Beneil, I don't know that Selkild's going to let him even get into trying to wrestle at any point in time. But we'll see how it goes, with being the biggest favorite out there right now, so far from what we've gone through. Selkild is, you know, looking like the best bet right now. So, I mean, he's younger, he's faster, he puts on a higher pace. I think he's got better finishing skills, and he's got power, and he can, you know, he finishes with his hands and his feet. He's knocked people out both ways. So I think, all right, Infinity, appreciate you. But yeah, so I just think that Selkild's just gonna, I mean, it's just gonna be hard for him not to get this win. So, moving on, that brings us to the main event, and that's Jack Della Maddalena versus Carlos Prates. This is going to be a fun fight. I mean, even if it gets finished early, I don't see how it's not fireworks. But if it goes all 5 rounds, you know, I think that coaching probably is the 9 to 5. Depends on the coach. A lot of BJJ guys are freelancers for MMA gyms. They come in, get paid to give the guy a particular look or do the seminar circuit. Oh yeah, good point. Fanatic. I'll just call you Fanatic because I think yeah, it's tough to read from here, but appreciate you for jumping in and for that info. I don't know if you know firsthand or if you know, but yeah, it sounds like some good info, and it makes sense too, honestly, from what I've heard as well. So yeah, Infinity, appreciate you for jumping in. Oh, Infinity's rebroadcasting the interview, the reverse interview with me on his channel, so that's what he's taking off to do. Buchecha would make a killing doing seminars. Yeah, he would. So yeah, I mean, with Jack Della and Carlos Prates, I mean, obviously Della is a former champion, 8-1 in the UFC, 18-3 overall, 12-1 by KO TKO. That's an impressive stat right there. But look at Prates with 18-2. That's insane. He's 6-1 in the UFC and 23-7 overall. Similar submissions, 2-1 for Jack Della, 3-3 for Prates, 4-1 by decision for Della, better than Prates at 2-2. Della's obviously coming off a loss, but Prates coming off a 2-fight win streak after he lost too. So yeah, Prates round 4 KO. That makes sense, man. I do see this going later into the rounds. Jack Della being a former champ, you know, he's definitely got the experience in there over Prates, but you know, and he's got some crispy ass boxing, man. I love his striking. His boxing is really good. When he gets in a rhythm, he's nice with it, but he pushes a crazy pace. A lot of significant strikes per minute. You know, and pretty elite volume for the 170 division. And Prates is, you know, highly ranked and one of the most dangerous finishers right now. Best fight night main event of the year. Yeah, pretty much. I hope they come through with it too. He's coming off that win over Leon Edwards where he, you know, KO'd him. And after, you know, he had that moment where Leon was on his back. Actually, I'll just show it right here. Where Leon was on his back and he's just kind of taking those punches. Oh, I thought I put that one in here. Fuck, I meant to. Anyway, but he knocked out Leon, which hadn't been done before. He's actually gotten the finish on a few people that hadn't been finished before. So, Prates is dangerous for sure. I don't think Jeff Neal had ever been finished in the UFC, and I think the Leech, Li Jingliang, he finished him as well. He had never been finished before either. Fucking Prates has, in his last 2 fights, they were both TKO wins and both performance of the night bonuses. And then he lost to Ian Machado Gary by decision. But before that, he had 4 wins in a row, all by finish, by TKO, and all performance of the night bonuses. So Prates is a fucking fantastic and exciting fighter. So you're definitely going to want to watch this fight. I mean, obviously the fight with Machado Gary was a little bit of a different fight for him, but he bounced right back, started getting finishes and started winning again and getting those finishes as well as the bonuses, picking up right where he left off before he got that first loss. So Jack Della is obviously coming off the loss where he lost to Islam Makhachev for the title. That was his first UFC title defense, and he was not able to defend. So he beat Bilal Muhammad before that by decision to win the title. On his way there, he beat Gilbert Burns by TKO and got a performance of the night bonus for that. He beat Kevin Holland, Basil Hafez, where he got a fight of the night bonus against Randy Brown. I mean, Jack Della has a bunch of bonuses as well, just not as many as Prates. So if that doesn't tell you we're going to have an exciting fight here, I don't know what does. Jack Della puts out higher volume and he's more technical than Prates, but you know, the lower volume doesn't matter when you got those power shots. And on top of that, I mean, he's constantly trying to get that knockout one way or the other. So, and he's got the skills to do it. So if he manages to, you know, keep the distance on Jack and keep that defense going and make Jack Della miss a little more, he will be able to get the win here and maybe catch Jack and finish him. Can't wait to see what type of gas tanks these guys have to push the pace or not. Yeah, and I think it's going to go later in the rounds, and I think it's going to be whoever slows down a bit first might be the first one to get, you know, to get finished. So it's an interesting fight, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Let's see who's the favorite. It's actually near. It's a pick'em fight, really. -110, -110. So according to Tapology. So that's interesting as well. I'm not even sure who I'm picking in this fight, to be honest with you. But let's get to these prelims. I know I'm pushing a long show here, but I ain't got nothing else to do. So if y'all are willing to just stick with it with me, we're going to go through these prelims. I'll make my picks and we'll do the random fight wheel predictions, and then we'll get out of here. That's how you know it's a fun card to talk about, though, when I can talk this long on it. Because yeah, it's just fun. Good matchups means there's a lot to talk about, and don't feel like you got to just kind of go over, you know, just go past it or anything like that. So we start off the night in the first fight of the night on the prelims. Have you ever been to Outback Steakhouse? Yeah, I actually have. My wife and I made it a thing for a while where we went, you know, we had some really good steaks from there a couple times in a row. Antoine. We had a couple really good steaks in a row, so we went a few times in a row, and it was good, but you know, it kind of fell off, honestly. So we don't really go there that often. We don't have one near us, so but yeah, it's not like the best place in the world, but it's a decent place, I guess. Let me get to my notes for the prelims, and we'll get started here. Marfam versus Cody Steele is our first fight of the night. Steele is 7-1 overall, 0-1 in the UFC, and Fan is making his UFC debut coming from that Contender Series, if I remember correctly. He's a bit of an underdog, but I think he's a live dog, considering coming from, let's see, Sang-Uk Kim. He won the he's coming from the road to the UFC. That's what it was. I thought it was Contender Series. Have you ever had TGI Fridays? Yeah, actually, I used to love TGI Fridays when they had the Jack Daniels like steak and chicken tenders or whatever they were. That Jack Daniels sauce was good as hell. But they don't have them here anymore. So I think the Thickness versus Morales names are. Oh shit, they are. Man, good call there, Antoine. You know what it was? I did it again with the I downloaded the wrong one again. That's funny. That's okay. It's not a big deal. Just like last time, I'll just let it go. And it was probably me not fixing the names after I messed up one of the pictures, because I did have to go back and fix this one. But it is what it is. Let me look. Do I have the one? What did I do? I don't even see the one. Maybe I backed out of it and it didn't save. And I usually check these things too, but yeah, it's all good. What was I saying? Fan, I think he's one of those guys that he can surprise you. So I think that, how do I forget somebody with a cool ass name like Thickness? I actually remember like putting his name in because I had to fix it. So maybe that's how I messed it up. Anyway, what was I talking about? It's okay, just genuinely. No, I appreciate that, Antoine. Because I didn't even notice it. I would have noticed it when I got to it. And I'm being like, what the hell? Because I use these templates, and it makes it easier for Justin KO's Ilya, by the way. Man, I'm surprised at how many people are saying that. Just out of pure, like, randomness, I guess you could say. Because there's been a lot. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about, everyone thinks that Justin can KO Ilya. And I feel like, I wouldn't say that's a far-fetched idea, but I will say that, I would have thought more people would have been like, Ilya's winning this 1,000%. So, and I get the patriotism for sure. But I'm just surprised at how many people are willing to just put that out there. And there you go. I fixed it, Antoine. Easily. But I would love to see that happen. So I'm with you there, Jaween. Thank you for jumping in and interacting. Appreciate you for checking out the show. But yes, don't get me wrong. Hey, I'm from Arizona. Justin's from Arizona. I would love to see that happen. I'm just really surprised at the amount of people that are actually like really, really counting on that happening. I feel like it's going to be an interesting fight, because I think that I just hope that doesn't put too much effort too much pressure on Justin. It's Justin's last ride, man. Everyone else is gone, like Connor, Tony, Dustin. Justin is last one. Yeah. And I respect the shit out of Justin, man. So I would love to see him get the win, because I know Ilya will bounce back and probably become a champ again. But Justin, like you said, he's on his last run here, man. So I would love to see him get the legitimate belt before he, is out. So I just think his fight style is too chaotic, and I feel like Ilya is too locked in. And it's going to be a tough fight for Justin to win. But shit, with the power that he has the possibility of catching Ilya. But is Ilya too skilled? Is his defense too good? Is he too fast? Is he going to catch, Justin first? That's what, that's the question. So it's definitely interesting. And I don't know that it's maybe the worst matchup in the world like some people thought. So anyway, Dom Marfan versus Cody Steele. Cody Steele is coming off the Contender Series with a win there. He lost to Rong Zhu and in the road to the UFC as well. So yeah, that's your first fight of the night there. He's pretty fast. It's scary. Yeah. So next up we got hold on. Who do we have? Mikhailov versus Themba Gorimbo, and Mikhailov is coming off of a 2-fight win streak. He's 2-0 in the UFC. Jonathan Mikhailov. I don't know why I said Mikhailov. It's Mikhailov. He's 9-1 overall though, and he's fighting Themba Gorimbo, who was the Rock's guy. The Rock gave him that truck and a place to stay because he said he was like he got KO'd at UFC 300 and didn't give up. Oh yeah, no, I hear you, man. But don't get me wrong, I'm rooting for Justin. It's just Ilya's been so proven. Every time I think Ilya's gonna lose, he doesn't. So that's what scares me, and I'm just being real about it. That's all. But Themba Gorimbo is coming in off of a 2-fight losing streak where he lost to Vicente Luque and Jeremiah Wells. So tough fight for Gorimbo here against Mikhailov, who's undefeated in the UFC and looking to keep that streak going. That's happening in the welterweight division. In the middleweight division, we got Wes Schultz versus Ben Johnston. That is Schultz is 0-1 in the UFC, while Johnston's making his UFC debut. Schultz lost to Damian Piñas by TKO in the first round in his first UFC fight, and we got Johnston coming in as a debut to try to get his first UFC win in his debut. And then next up we have Colby Thickness versus Vince Morales. I was able to fix those names real quick while we got sidetracked. So but a lot of his relatives coming out of nowhere from Africa and saying he's a bad guy. You know what? I did hear about that too. And the fact that he took money from that just reminded me, man. He took money from that country artist Zach Bryan just to talk shit about Zach Bryan's ex-girlfriend. I don't know if any of you know about any of that, but it was a whole thing. I follow her because she was on a podcast I listened to back a little while back. But yeah, he took money from him just to kind of troll her on the UFC broadcast, which is kind of a dick move, but also kind of like, damn, that's how far you want to go. But that guy's kind of a weirdo. But Themba Gorimbo taking the money to do that is a little like weird. So I don't know, maybe that's part of why his relatives and themselves coming out saying he's a bad guy. Maybe it's the truth, who knows. But Colby Thickness versus Vince Morales. Thickness is 8-1 in overall, 1-1 in the UFC, while Vince Morales 16-10 overall, 3-8 in the UFC. Not a great record there for the UFC fights for him, but Thickness coming off a win by decision. His one loss in the UFC is by decision as well against Alexandre Topuria. I got to make that one correct. That's Ilya's brother. So he's 1-1, but Thickness, he's one of those guys, man. He's got a catchy name, obviously, and he's coming from, City Kickboxing, right? I think. But yeah, he's fighting Vince Morales. Not the best record in the world, but he is on a 3-fight losing streak. So that's tough. All by decision as well. While Thickness is also, his 2 fights in the UFC have been by decision, win and loss. So we might have a decision fight going on here. But we'll see what kind of a fight they give us, considering, Thickness coming off his first UFC win, so he might be on a high right now, and Vince Morales on a low with the 3-fight losing streak. So he's got to fight his way back to getting back in that win column. Otherwise, it might not be too much longer before he gets booted from the UFC. So we'll see if the experience does anything for him, or if Thickness is just going to ride that high of getting a win and prove himself a little more in the UFC. So our last 3 prelims, we got Jacob Malkoun versus Gerald Meerschaert, GM3. Big time grappling matchup here. Look at GM3's fucking record. 37-21 is insane. And obviously a submission artist as well. He's 12-13 in the UFC. That's tough. While Malkoun is 5-3 in the UFC, 9-3 overall. Both these guys, Meerschaert's obviously a submission hunter. Malkoun is control heavy, wrestling type. So a lot of this is probably going to take place on the ground. We'll see what kind of level it's at, and if it's an exciting, matchup with transitions and stuff like that, or if it's just going to be somewhat of a, boring kind of chess match. With the rest of these fights on these cards, that might stand out as a bad fight if they don't have a lot of action on the ground, but are, taking place on the ground. But it could also be a fun matchup with some good submission attempts and wrestling and grappling and stuff. So we'll see. GM3, he's back and forth on his fights, so we'll see how that goes. And then we got Junior Tafa versus Kevin Christian. Is this them giving Junior Tafa a chance to finally get a win? Because he's been on a horrible streak. He has not looked good in his fights. He's on a 2-fight losing streak with a submission loss to Tuco Tucos and a submission loss to Billy Alencana. Arm triangle and rear naked choke. His last win was against Sean Sharaf by TKO. Before that, he lost twice in a row as well against Walter Walker by heel hook and Marcos Rodrigo de Lima by TKO. So he's in his last 5 fights, he's 1-4, which is absolutely just horrible. And he has not looked good, getting finished early, stuff like that. So Tafa needs to get a bounce back here against Kevin Christian, who's 9-3 overall, and coming in at 0-1 in the UFC with a submission loss to Billy Alencana. Both these guys have been losing by submission a lot lately. So we'll see if Tafa can get the quick finish with a TKO on the feet, or a KO, I should say. But is this gonna be like a weird battle? I don't know, man. Christian is easy. He's kind of a longer, awkward type, and he's dangerous on the ground, I guess. But he's been submitted in his last 2 fights. So if Tafa can keep it standing, he can make it an ugly fight, but get a big win. If Christian can get Tafa to the ground, he could probably submit him. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. Tafa really needs to get that win. I'll tell you that right now. But the last fight of the night, or the last fight of the prelims going into the main card, Cam Rouston versus Robert Brycek. This should be a fun one. I mean, Brycek's kind of a beast, and but Cam Rouston, he's on a streak and kind of building some momentum right now. He's got he's 2-0 in the UFC. He was 1-1 in the Contender Series. He beat Andre Petrosky by TKO in his first UFC fight, and then he beat Cody Brundage by TKO as well. So he's got 2 finishes. He got a finish in the Contender Series in his last fight there. That was in the first round as well. So yeah, he comes in ready to go. Well, Brycek, like I said, he's a beast, but he is coming off of a win over Brad Tavares by TKO, and he looked really damn good in that fight. I'm remembering that now. His last loss was to Ihor Batoria by decision, but that win against Tavares in his last fight was a good one. He won in the 3rd round. Rouston, he's consistent. He's unpredictable. And I feel like Brycek is just dangerous as hell, and he can play the spoiler role well. This is kind of a sleeper fight. I think there could be some really good action in this one, leading us into the main card. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll be excited to see what happens in this fight when I'm getting ready to go live for the watch party on Saturday. So let's hit up these fight wheel predictions. Before we do the actual random predictions, I will write in, which we went 0-5 last week, which is absolutely shitty. So I'm gonna write in here who I think is gonna win. So let's go. We'll just go from the top to the bottom, right? I think that's probably best. So let's see. Oh man, that's the first. The first one's tough. You know what? I'm gonna give it to Prates. I know that's tough, but I'm gonna go with Prates for the win against Jack Della. As much as I think Della has a really good opportunity to beat Prates, I'm gonna have to go with Prates for the win. Obviously, I'm gonna go with Cell Killed for the win against Beneil Dariush, and then I will take. Man, do I go with the veteran and Tim Elliott, or do I go with Steve Erceg? Oh man, Elliott's on a win streak. Shit, I'm gonna go with Erceg. I just think that Elliott has trouble with higher level guys, and while Erceg had some trouble there for a minute, he looked really good before he started losing, and he looked really good in his last fight, so we'll go with that. I'm gonna go with Rahiki. It's hard to go against the guy who broke someone's jaw with an elbow and has had some exciting fights and is undefeated. Shamil Gaziev versus Brando Pericek. I gotta go with Gaziev. Pericek is good, but I just think Gaziev is one of those guys that can pull out that win. And then Tai Tuivasa versus Louis Sutherland. I'm going to go with Tuivasa because that's just me going with my heart. I want him to win, so I'm hoping he does. So those are my picks on the left, and I will put some spaces to make my picks on the fight wheel predictions on the right. So we'll do those totally random, and we'll get that going. All right, so here we go. Fight wheel predictions for UFC Perth. 6 fights on the main card. Let's get started. And we'll match them up against my picks, which are the ones on the left, by the way. Oh, shit. Already going against me. Louis Sutherland for that first fight on the main card. All right. So we'll do that, and that will tell us the two differences on the picks. If Ty loses here, do they really cut him? I mean, I want to say I don't see how they don't. I wouldn't want them to cut him, but I could see them cutting him. Because remember when it took about 7 or 8 fights before they cut Tony Ferguson. So he's right at that level now. All right, let's go for the next fight wheel predictions. Ooh, Beneil Dariush to beat Quillen Cellkill. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, but you never know, because sometimes that's what happens. You think that it's in the bag and somebody has the win, but the vet will come out and get the win because of experience and all that stuff, especially when they need to bounce back. So I could see it happening, but I don't know how he gets past Quillen Cellkill, to be honest with you. So 2 down, 4 to go. UFC Perth. Don't forget it's happening early in the morning. Okay, first one that we agree on. Gaziev to beat Pericek. So there's that one. And we'll write that next to mine. All right, halfway through. Next fight wheel prediction. What do we got? Ooh, is it gonna stay on Jack Della? Nope, it went to Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates to win in the main event against Jack Della Maddalena. That one is a toss-up for me, man. But I did pick Prates, so the fight wheel predictions are agreeing with me on that one. So we're kind of 2-2 right now. with predictions. We got 2 more fights left. Let's see what the fight wheel predicts for UFC Perth for the last 2 fights. We got, oh shit, I messed up. I messed up the names. Hold on, I'm gonna redo that because I messed up the names here. We're supposed to get rid of that one. There we go. Okay, we'll redo that one. Here we go. So that puts it at Steve Erceg to beat Tim Elliott, which I could see happening, but I can also see Tim Elliott getting a win there again as the vet, turning it into just an IQ fight, you know what I mean? But that's your fight wheel prediction for that one, and we got 1 fight left. What was he? What do you got planned for tomorrow? Driving home and hopefully just hanging out and chilling because it's been a week. All right, let's see our last fight. Marwan Rahiki versus Ali Schmid, and it looks like Schmid. So me and the fight wheel are at odds 3-3 with our picks. So we'll see who comes out on top. The randomized fight wheel predictions or my actual predictions. That'll be fun to find out how it goes for when we're doing the watch party. And this is a cool little thing to do in the middle of, or to change it up a little bit for the fight wheel predictions. So we got, both of us say Prates is going to win the main event. I say Cell killed. The fight wheel says Dariush. We both say Erceg. I say Rahiki beats Schmid. The fight wheel says Schmid. We agreed on Gaziv, and then I'm calling Tai Tuivasa for the win. The fight wheel predicts Louis Sutherland. Great show, E. Safe travels home. Hopefully catch you on the watch party. Right on 78 Northwest. I appreciate you for jumping in and you know, for the support as always. Thank you. All right, so that does it for the fight wheel predictions for UFC Perth, and that about does it for me. So the internet held up from what I can tell. I saw no complaints, so that's awesome. I appreciate everybody for jumping in and interacting with me and hanging in there with me. You know, I've gone 2 hours before, so it's not a big deal, but I did go a little longer just because there was a lot to talk about, really good fights. And when there's really good fights, you got to talk about them a little more, go a little more in depth. And I had fun. I got nothing better to do, except now I do have something I have to do, and that is clean all this up so that I can get my ass out of here tomorrow and go back home to my family. I miss my wife. I miss my kids. I miss my dogs. I miss my house. So I'm happy to get out of here. It hasn't been a horrible week, but it hasn't been that much fun either. So I'm glad to be going home tomorrow. So that's it for me, guys. I appreciate you all. Don't forget, I'm going live during the main card for UFC Perth. It'll be 4 a.m. in the morning for me. Go to Google UFC event, and it'll tell you what time the main card starts. Hit that notification bell. It'll also notify you when I go live. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. And make sure you like this video before you leave today. And if you're watching this later, please drop a like. I'd appreciate it. All right. That's it for me. Yeah, man. We'll see you on Saturday, Antoine. Appreciate you again. Thank you. And thank you all for the support. Appreciate you all. That's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Peace. Oh, I got to hit the button.